Shalom Yashrala. It's your brother WW3 from GMS Tampa Bay 07, coming at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that taught me this truth and rule well. And salutations to you, I can pushing this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth. Alright, first, we're going to get into this here quick little lesson, just a quick lesson, dealing with, some of the technology and the war, the technology and the weapons, that's around on the planet Earth today, and it's going to be used in World War III, and this Bible is real detailed, like to the T, there's a lot of things in this Bible that, let's say, 10, 20 years ago, you knew that the mark of the beast would be more or less a tracking device, right? If you knew that that's what it was, 10, 20 years ago, you didn't understand how it would actually play out, because those RFID chips wasn't, out to the public. So, you might have known it was some kind of tracking device, but you just couldn't understand how it would work out, In the same way with a lot of these other things, we see a lot of new things being developed, right here, right now, and, lo and behold, these things are actually written in the scriptures, A lot of this technology is written in the scriptures. So, I'm going to get into just a little quick little lesson dealing with a couple of the weapons that they're going to be using in World War III, Lord willing, we'll do a whole in-depth lesson about the nukes, because the nukes, man, there's a couple different lessons you can do on the nukes, You got the nukes, the descriptions of the nukes in the Bible, how they're going to be used in the Bible and things like that, But nevertheless, we get into this here lesson dealing with some of the weapons that's going to be used inside of World War III, This pretty much was sparked over a conversation I was having, and this came back up when this was being read, and I had imagined this, I had this one that I came up with, but I was watching some video clips of wars and rumors of wars, more or less to say, and I happened to see when Russia first started, well, not Russia, it was when America first started striking in Syria from their battleships, I'm not correctly sure what the actual name of the types of ships they was launching from, but they was shooting those cruise missiles from out in the water, from way out, from one end they was just launching off, And then Russia started with the same thing, they was out there, I believe, in the Baltic Sea, and they just started launching from out there, And, believe it or not, that's actually written about in the scriptures, We're going to get to that, We're going to get to how that's all broke down. So we're going to jump over here in the book of Revelation, chapter 9. I'm going to start at, I'll start at the top, just to give a little background. It says, Revelation 9:1, and the fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven unto the earth, and to him was given the key of the bottomless pit. And he opened the bottomless pit, and there arose smoke out of the pit, as smoke of the great furnace, and the sun and the air was darkened by reason of the smoke of the pit. Okay? Now, in the things that we're about to start reading, these things are metaphors for other things. This is not saying verbatim, this is the things you're going to see, because, in popular Christian doctrine and stuff like that, they would have you believe that these are, you're reading these things for verbatim, more or less to say, word for word, and that's exactly what it means, So it trips people up. It's easy to start thinking that the Bible is a fairy tale once you get to the book of Revelation. You start seeing multiple-headed beasts coming up out of the water, and then one of the heads is like slain, and then it's coming back up again. You just start thinking of a mythical creature, like one of them, a 10-headed dragon, and things like that. So, it's really hard for you to understand those things when, that you ain't ever seen no shit like that before in your life, So it's easy to dismiss it as some kind of fairy tale, But if you have the proper understanding of it, it's a lot easier to understand, And really, it's not that deep, You got to just, look at the foundation. Who are you? You a Jake. You know what I'm saying? You an Israelite, okay? Who created you? The master Israelite, okay? You go, just like here on earth, you got a lot of tendencies like your actual father. When we pray, we talk to our father. So we're going to be like how our father is, And our father like to talk in Jake terms, like how we talk in Jake terms, He say, certain things like, let me think of some of the lines the Most High say, how does it say, what does it say? Basically a ass knows his master, and a mule knows his crib, or, more or less to say. But, using the word crib, that's Jake talk, we speak like that, and a lot of other things that he say, like, a lot of things that's in the scriptures, it's just actual Jake talk, just like how we talk today, or a lot of, Edomites and stuff, they can't understand, you go to your corporate, let's say your corporate Edomites, we're talking to some corporate Edomites and you're trying to break down a song to them, they don't know what the hell that shit's talking about, You can say something like, yo, man, I got 4 bad thoughts over here, They think that you got, like, some disgruntled thought processes going on in your head, They wouldn't think that you're talking about 4 women, They don't think like that, You say, man, I got a brand new whip inside of them things, and that motherfucker's sick. They be like, what the hell are you talking about, That's exactly how these scriptures are written, There's a lot of things in here that's spoken metaphorically in certain words and certain ways, like when they talk about, just a lot of different things, and so you have to take those things in context, like horses, a lot of times they talk about these horses and stuff like that, They say Yahushua is going to return a great white horse, And if you expected him to come out of the sky on an actual, like, a 4-legged horse, a white horse, then you sadly mistaken, Like, with all the technology and the shit that we got going on nowadays, like, and if the Lord come back on a horse, like, man, we way far more advanced than him. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not what it's talking about. But how we speak when we say horsepower, like, yo, man, I got 400 horses under the hood right there. You was to tell another Jake that they're not going to look up under your hood looking for animal cruelty or nothing like that. They're looking for, oh, you got that power up under your hood, So that's how these scriptures are written. So a lot of the things we about to come up into, these things are actually written, for lack of a better word, in Jake term, they got different meanings, more or less to say. So you have to understand that to be able to break these things down. So, I'm going to start over here at verse 3. And there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth, and upon them was given power. The scorpions as the scorpions of the earth have power. And it was commanded that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, neither any green thing, neither any tree, but those men which have not the seal of Yahweh in their foreheads. Okay, now that seal is talking about, it's the same seal, right here. It says, after these things, Revelation 7:1, after these things I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor the sea, nor any tree. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living power, and cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea. That's basically talking about this here destruction, And I saw another angel ascending from the east, verse 3, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea nor the trees, so we have sealed the servants of our power in their forehead. And I heard the number of them that which were sealed, and there were sealed 144,000, all the tribes of the children of Israel. Okay? This is Ezekiel chapter 9, verse 4. It says, and Yahweh said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. Okay? Now, when you go down to Ezekiel 3, it's the commandment that's telling us to go basically out to the highways and the byways, basically to go and speak to the children of Israel. Okay? It says, Ezekiel 3 and 4, and he said unto me, son of man, go get thee unto the house of Israel, and speak with them my words unto them. Okay? For thou art not sent to a people of strange speech or of a hard language, but to the house of Israel. Okay, so it's basically telling them to go out to the children of Israel. Okay? They are on the highways and the byways crying for the abominations thereof, also putting, waking up those dry bones, So these people that's going out here doing what the commandment is going to get this mark on their forehead, the exemption. Okay? Now, when you go in Revelation, chapter 13, they talk about this other mark, and it says, this is Revelation 13 and 16. He calls us all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand on their foreheads, that no man might buy or sell, save he that have the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Okay? this is a different mark. This here word is actually talking about an incision when you look up this here word. The other word is pretty much exemption from judgment, you know. So back over here at what was we reading? I think he was reading. No, he wasn't reading. So here again, you reading about these same angels. So I'm gonna read Revelations 9 and 4 again. And it was commanded them that they should not hurt the grass or the earth, neither any green thing, neither any tree, but only those men which have not the seal of the living power in their forehead. So the men that's out there on the highways and the byways prophesying, you know, the ones that the Most High chose from the foundations of the earth, they're gonna have that mark of exemption. But the other men that's marked with that mark of the beast, they're gonna get this here judgment. You know, just throwing that in there to give you a context of what's going on. We at the end times. We're reading about the end times and the day of the Lord, you know, basically this judgment day, you know. So it says, hurt not the grass or the earth or any green thing, neither any tree, but only those men which have not the seal of Yahweh in their foreheads. And to them it was given that they should not kill them, but they should be tormented 5 months, and their torment was as the torment of a scorpion when he striketh the man. And in those days shall men seek death, and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them. Yeah, see, all hell gonna be going out. And really, you know, you want to take a snapshot image of this, because what we're reading now is pretty much already happening, but basically this prophecy isn't coming true right at this moment, because this is actually talking about on a world stage, you know, when everything is coming out, you know, when Jake is actually going through this as well, you know. But on a smaller scale, if you wanted to see this, you know, go look at what was going on over there in Iraq when we invaded there. Look what's going on in Syria right now, you know. You got all these refugees. These refugees is running for their life. You know, some of them is running for their life, you know, and they just want to die, but, you know, they can't find death, you know. Every time they you know, they just want to sit down and give up and just die. You know, they get taken captive. Now they're in slavery or something like that, you know. They got all kind of crazy shit going on. Just imagine living over there in those places, you know, day in, day out, bombs is dropping. Those people ain't worried about going to work. They ain't worried about going to school, paying no bills. They just worried about when the next goddamn bomb is dropping, you know. That's the only thing they got going on over there. So they looking for death, but death is fleeing their ass, you know. Imagine being in an active war zone like Syria for 5 years, you know. Day in, day out, you just, you know, trying to make it by, you know. And you know, you just all shook the fuck up, you know. And because, you know, when certain things are going on, like let's say the hurricane or something that's coming, a blizzard, and you scared, you know, but that might only be, you know, the storm only going to be there for, you know, a day, maybe 2 days at max, you know. You could think ahead of time, like this time next week, we ain't going to be worried about this, you know. But these people that's over in these war zones and what's coming on this earth is going to be like this until Yahweh Shah return. So hypothetically, you know, those people over there, like let's say in Syria, they're going to be dealing with that shit until the Lord returns. So they pretty much already in this state, you know. Verse 7, and the shapes, and this is where we want to get at. The shapes of the locusts were like unto horses prepared unto battle, and their heads were as it were crowns like gold, and their faces were like the faces of men. And they had hair, and their hair was of women, and their teeth were the teeth of lion. They had breastplates as if it were breastplates of iron, and the sound of their wings was the sound of the chariots of many horses running to the battle. And they I'm going to go ahead and break this here down first. So it says back in verse 7, and the shapes of the locusts were like unto horses prepared unto battle. Okay? So again, like we was talking about the Jake talk, this is all metaphorically, all right? You're not talking about actual gigantic ass locusts coming up that's going to be plaguing the earth, you know, and horses and shit like that with you know, a half locust, half man. You know, they ain't got no a locust body and a man's head and some horse's legs. You know, that's not what they're talking about. So basically, here's the breakdown. And the shapes of the locusts. Okay, first of all, what does the locust do? Locusts, they fly in bands. They come in a bunch of bands, and wherever they go, pretty much they just eat up and destroy everything in its path. You know, okay. Like unto horses prepared unto battle. Now the horses represent power, or like, you know, they would use the word chariot for transportation more or less, but also, you know, most of the time chariots was driven by horses, you know. So this is more or less talking about a mechanical, something with power in it, you know, like you got an engine inside your car, you know. Now the horse represents power, you know, as far as some kind of mechanical power, like how we say horsepower. Now, and it says, and the shapes of the locusts were like unto horses prepared into battle. So this is a mechanism or a machine, okay, that's a battle machine, okay. And then when you go back up to this locust, is made to devour, okay. It says, and on their heads were as if it was crowns like gold, okay. So now a crown is representing like more or less dominion or a king, you know. And or how do you say, a king has like pure dominion, pure power, you know. So these things is more or less dominating. And I'm gonna give you the full breakdown all together. I just want to break down piece by piece. And it says, and their faces were faces of men. Okay, again, this wasn't no locust with a half man's face. What it's talking about, they have faces of men, is the fact of, okay, like your face is on your head. Your head is pretty much what's directing and moving your body, you know. From your head, you got your eyes. Your eyes, you can guide yourself so you know where the fuck to go at, you know. The head goes and the tail follows, you know. So pretty much what it's talking about here, to give you the whole breakdown, it's talking about what they describe in here is pretty much these how do you say, these attack helicopters, more or less to say, you know. It's talking about these goddamn these helicopters. Hold on, thought I talked about the hair and all that. I think we'll get down to the hair a little later. But hang on, let me go back up because I think I might have skipped a verse. Con. Verse 8. And they had hair as if it was the hair of a woman, and their teeth was the teeth of a lion. Okay, so going back to break these things down. So the locust is representing the helicopter, first and foremost, okay? Now, the helicopter, they first of all, like the bands of, you see the helicopter formations. Just look up YouTube Russian helicopters, you know? And you'll see them coming in like in ranks. You'll see about 4 or 5 in a line, and then behind them is another rank and another rank and another rank and another rank, you know? Just like if you was back in those days, you look up in the sky and you see all these locusts come in, a swarm of locusts. There's a slight darkness or a cloud, a small cloud, you know, it looked like a cloud coming over the sky. You know, you just see these bands of locusts coming at you, you know? Same way where you look up these attack helicopters, you know, when they come in formation, is band after band after band after band of them, okay? And they just flying. And then the locust is coming and devouring up everything, all the fields and everything that's in its path. Same with these attack helicopters, okay? So, the shapes of the locusts, or the helicopters, was like unto horses prepared in the battle. It's not a regular helicopter. This is an attack battle helicopter, okay? And on their heads were, if it was crowns like gold. These are superior, top-of-the-notch, high sophisticated, high technological helicopters, okay? And their faces were the faces of men. Okay, these was also intelligent helicopters. They was guided by intelligence, okay? And it wouldn't slide past me if this is, you know, again, like I'm talking about, some of these things hasn't quite even been invented yet, you know, or it could be, and we just haven't been released, because I know that, you know, Iran has the swarm technology when it comes to drones. You know, that's the next level of drones. Instead of controlling one drone, you have multiple drones. You know, one person can control a band of 100 different drones, you know, and have them in different formations. Hell, actually, they got them up into, I think, like 10 or 20,000. One person can control 10 or 20,000 of these things, you know. So, and then they've been upscaling how big a drone can be. You know, they got full battleships, full 747s, the size, like drones that big, you know. But nevertheless, you know, this could be actually talking about a fleet of drone helicopters. But for the most part, it's just talking about helicopters, you know, these battle helicopters. But I say with the, you know, the faces of men, you know, it's being intelligently driven, you know, whether it be a pilot that's piloting on the inside with the high technology they got, or whether the pilot is on the outside in the drone technology, you know. Verse 8, and they had hair as the hair of women, and teeth as were the teeth of lion. Now, a woman's hair, you know, women normally have long hair, but imagine, you know, a man with dreads or something, you know, when they say, like, shake your dreads, you know, you see a man shaking his dreads to the side, you see the dreads, you know, flopping around, right? Okay, that's pretty much like that's what it's describing on these helicopters, you know. You know, you waving your hair around like that in a circle. It's the same way these helicopters, you know, the propellers is coming out the top of these helicopters, you know, and it's fanning around. The head, your hair is on top of your head. On top of the helicopter is these propellers, you know. It says, and their teeth were the teeth of lion. Yeah, these, you know, a lion, whatever a lion come across, he devouring, he eating it. Same with these attack helicopters, you know. They eating everything in their damn path, you know. They devouring every damn thing. These goddamn, the sophisticated weaponry systems they got on these things, you know. And they had breastplates, verse 9, they had breastplates as if it was a breastplate of iron, okay. Yeah, and they got, obviously, you know, these are metallic planes, but not only that, you got in a new technology now, you got these fucking stealth fighters and stuff like that. You know, you got them made out of other technology and stuff like that now. So they're not just your regular, you know, you just simply shoot these things down and stuff. It's a lot more sophisticated than that nowadays. You know, this is why you have to have laser weapons to try to, like, combat against a lot of this stuff, you know. And they have breastplates. And now the breastplates, also, again, it's like it's talking about his armor, you know. And they had breastplates as if it was breastplates of iron. And the sound of their wings was as the sound of chariots of many horses running to the battle. And so those wings are talking back about the hair up here. They was talking about the women, you know. And when you hear a damn helicopter coming around, you hear, that shit be super loud, you know. You see anybody running to or from the helicopter, they holding their ears and they ducking. That shit's like super, super loud. If you ever been around a real helicopter, you know, when like not even when it's taking off, but if it's just idling with its propellers, you know, that shit's super fucking loud. You can't even hear yourself talk, you know. It says, and the sound of their wings, just like the locusts, you know, you hear a band of locusts coming by, you hear a band of helicopters, or just one helicopter, you know. You hear these things. In fact, I live, you know, pretty much in the path of a major Air Force base, you know. Not really close to it, but just in the path of, you know, where these things will be flying in and out of, you know. And whenever a fighter jet flies over my house, man, my whole house just is rattling. You know, we get planes fly over my house all the time. In fact, there's an actual airport closer in the same path than the military airport, you know. And then the airplanes, I hear the airplanes all the time, you know, they're kind of low, but they never really shake my house as much as the military jets do. Or when these helicopters, you know, these helicopters will come by late at night and stuff like that, and they be flying real low, and their whole house is shaking, and the glasses and the plates inside your pantry and stuff like that, the cabinets, they start rattling around and everything like that. And these things, you know, they make a loud noise, you know. It says, and the sound of their wings was the sound of the chariots of many horses running to the battle. Okay, and you can just imagine back in those days, you got a whole bunch of horse-drawn chariots running through the streets and stuff. All you hear is that commotion, all loud commotion and stuff like that. Same with these military equipment, you know. Now we're gonna start getting into some of this other technology and stuff here. It says, and they had tails like unto scorpions, and they were to sting in their tails, and the power was to hurt men 5 months. And they had a king over them, which was the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in the Hebrew tongue was Abaddon, and in the Greek tongue, his name was Apollyon. You know, it pretty much is talking about Esau. You know, when you go into Daniel 12, you know, Michael and his angels fought against the devil and his angels, you know. But let me jump down a little bit. I'm going to jump down to verse 17. And I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them having breastplates of fire, and jacinth, and brimstone, and the heads of the horses were the heads of lion, and their mouth, and out of their mouth issued fire and smoke and brimstone. And by these three was the third part of men killed, by fire, and by the smoke, and by the brimstone which issued out of their mouth. And the power was in their mouth and in their tails, for their tails was like unto the serpents, and their heads, and with them that they do not hurt. Okay, now I'm gonna compare that there, what we just read, to verse 10. And they had tails like unto scorpions, and their sting was in their tails, and their power was to hurt men 5 months. Okay, So when you read that and you jump down here to the bottom, it says, and I saw the horses in the vision, and then they sat on them having breastplates of fire, and jacinth and brimstone. So they got these breastplates, or these are armored vehicles as well, okay? Now, they had jacinth, brimstone, and the heads of the horses were the heads of the lions, and out of their mouth issue fire and smoke and brimstone. Now, there'll be another lesson when I go into the nuclear warheads. Now, the nuclear bombs, the ICBM missiles, because this is actually talking about that as well. But, you know, in general, this is talking about more or less just a missile, you know, the design of a missile, okay? But at the same time, we know about the ICBMs. That's just a way more sophisticated, bigger, more grandiose, same deal, you know? But it says, and the horses, and the heads of the horses were the heads of lions, and out of their mouth issued fire and smoke and brimstone. Okay? And it says, by these three was the third part of the men killed by fire and by the smoke and by the brimstone which issued out of their mouth. And their power was in their mouth and in their tails. For their tails was like unto the serpent, and had heads with them that they do not hurt. So again, like I said, that's talking about these nuclear ICBM missiles. You know, this is actually talking about those things, you know. But at the same time, when they're talking about these scorpion tails and this thing, the scorpion, you know, when you look at, again, like I was saying, these battleships, you know, these, I don't know the proper name for these ships, you know, but where they off the coast and they sending in these cruise missiles from a long way, you know, just look up Russia sending in cruise missiles, you know, from their ships, you know. Look up the S-400 system. Look up the S-300 system. You know, because this is what these things are talking about. You know, first of all, it's talking about the armor that they have, and you know, they stealthy and all that type of stuff and everything like that. You know, when it says that they, for their power was in their mouth, and so the power in their mouth. Okay, when we talk about nuclear missiles, you have a piece called the warhead. Okay, the only danger is really inside the warhead. You know. The rest of the missile, more or less, is just the fuel to get it to where it's got to go, the delivery mechanism. And then just the tip of it breaks off, and inside the tip is where the warheads are at, okay? So the power was so their power is in their mouth and in their tails, for their tails is like unto the serpent, okay? Now, at the bottom of these rockets, or the ass end of these rockets, okay, the reason they said it like that was because when you see these rockets take off, they shoot off, and then you see from the tail end, okay, that's the thruster. That's the thruster, you know, that's where the fire and the propulsion is coming from, okay? And you see the smoke trail coming from behind it, okay? So when you're looking at it, when John is seeing this from back in the days, you know, you see this rocket take off, you know, it looks like a giant ass snake going forward, you know, and you see his tail, you know, and then when you look at the Satan II, so the Satan II can re-guide itself, you know, more or less change its course. So, you know, it wouldn't surprise me if John was actually seeing that. You know, they are on a regular trajectory range, and all of a sudden it's got to change its range. So now it's got to go up a little bit more, go to the left a little bit more, go to the right a little bit more. Also, so it don't get targeted and get pinpointed and get shot down, okay? So it says, for their power is in their mouth and in their tails were like unto serpents, and had heads, and with them they do hurt. Yeah, those warheads, okay? And, going back up here to verse 9, it was. No. Verse 10. And they had tails like in the scorpions, and there were stings in their tails, and they had power to hurt men 5 months. Yeah, so like just imagine a scorpion sitting there in the shape of a scorpion, and standing there, it goes in attack mode. From his tail and from the backside, that tail come over the top of his head in an arching shape, more or less to say. You know, I'm not good with my words, and you know, so just bear with me, you know. But the shape that the scorpion's tail makes when it's coming over to penetrate his prey, you know, it's coming from the back end of it, from his ass end, all the way over to the front of his mouth. It's making a perfect arch. The same way, if you was to look at the goddamn those battleships in the water, you know, and let's say from a distance, and you look at the missiles coming out of those, you know, the cruise missiles coming out of those, and you put, like, let's say a hypothetical scorpion up to the side, it's the same shape and the same form and everything like that, you know. And then, like, the ship isn't shooting directly out the front of the ship, you know. It looks like it's coming out of the back or from the back side of it, and it's coming over top of, from the back all over the top of the ship and hitting its target. The same with the S-300 and S-400 systems, you know. You got the cab of the truck where you're driving it, but then, and in the Russian ICBM missiles, those big missile launchers, those trucks like that, you know. What it's talking about, you know, you got the cab of the truck when you're in the front, okay? But the missiles and all that shit, from where you're sitting at, all that shit's behind you. Just like as if you was a scorpion, okay? The head of the scorpion is in the front of the body, but the stinger is at his ass end. It's at the back. So that danger is going to come from the very far end, the ass end of him, and it's going to come all the way up to the front, that arching shape, and it's going to strike whatever's in front of them. So just look up, you know, the S-400 missiles taking off, shooting off. Look at those damn, those battleships, you know, those ships shooting those cruise missiles off, okay? You see those scorpions with those tails that's striking the earth, okay? It's a glorious sight, man. I thank the Most High that allowed me to see that, you know, to be able to see these things, and I'm like, holy shit, you know, this is a beautiful thing that we get to see, you know. And then also look up, bands of helicopters. I can't think of the name of the attack helicopters. They had it, I think it was in Ukraine when Russia was going into Ukraine, you know. They started sending their attack helicopters in like that, you know. But when you start seeing those things, they flying over the streets and the cities and stuff like that, you see basically these band of locusts coming in, you know. And what are they coming to do? To devour all the land and all the men that's in there, you know. Just like actual locusts do. Okay? And so like I said, you know, when you read these scriptures, you know, and you reading them and you see a multiple-headed beast come out the damn water and one of his heads is slain and he, you know, he got a wound in the head by a sword and he got crowns on his head. He got multiple heads and multiple horns on his head and shit like that. And you looking for an actual beast like that, you would drive a sane man insane trying to figure that shit out, you know. But when you look at certain things like, you know, I saw that great whore riding on the beast. And when you know these are metaphorically talking, okay, that great whore is, you know, who's spreading the whoredom. That's America, okay? The beast that it's riding on is what beast system? What does a beast do? Is a beast is something that's like a bull, you know? You got that bull that's in the Toro ring, you know, with the Mexican dude, the Spanish dude, you know what I'm saying? That little motherfucker is getting loose and tearing some shit up, you know? You can't hold that beast back. And what do you think NATO is doing, okay? You got America riding NATO, and with them two, they devouring the whole damn earth. They act like they the damn bull, and everybody else is wearing red, you know? So it's a lot easier to understand these things when you understand those things like that, you know, instead of trying to figure out, okay, we're looking for an actual whore, like a prostitute riding on a fucking beast, okay? You're going to be, you know, looking out of your fucking mind for shit like that, you know? There's a lot of little things where people will be looking for shit like that, you know? When, you know, people are talking about, you know, hearing, you know, these Christians say, oh, we're going to hear the trumpet of the Lord in the last days. We're going to hear these trumpets being blown. True enough, you might actually hear a trumpet when those chariots come down, you know, preparing for battle. But, motherfucker, if you're listening for a trumpet, your ass is already dead because these trumpets have been blowing day in and day out, every day of the week, every night of the week, you know. Every weekend on the weekends, we on the highways and the byways blowing these trumpets, you know. The trumpet is metaphorically for, it's not even metaphorically, you know, you go back into those days, just like today, but you go back into those days, but when there was a war or invasion coming, they had the watchmen blow the damn trumpet. Yo, get up, time to get prepared for battle. Today, we just had the goddamn trumpets being blown out in Hawaii. You had a false trumpet being blown. How did they know that there was so-called incoming missiles coming into Hawaii? They was counting off the trumpet, okay? So, again, you're not necessarily looking for a trumpet like that, but you're looking for a warning sign. Hey, we out here telling you on the highways and the byways, look, America finna get nuked off the face of the earth. You need to get right with your power. Come back to the law, statutes, commandments before your ass taste that same judgment, you know? We out there in the highways and the byways also telling Esau, look, bro, you finna get nuked off the face of the earth, man. Prepare to meet your maker, homie. You know what I'm saying? Prepare to respect somebody you ain't never respected a day in your life. You know, we blowing a trumpet to him as well, you know? So again, if you're looking for an actual trumpet in the sound of a trumpet in the air, your ass is already grass right now, bro, because the trumpet's been blowing all damn day and all you doing is ignoring it, you know? You walking by the minute of the Lord on the highways and the byways while we out here blowing the goddamn trumpet till we get hoarse on the side of the highways and the byways, you know what I'm saying? You know, metaphorically speaking, you know? But, you know, I mean, in reality, you know, sometimes we be hoarse and our voices be all fucked up from, you know what I'm saying, prophesying boldly and loudly on the highways and the byways. But, I mean, that's just a light affliction. But on the flip side of it is we out here playing the goddamn trumpet loud as fuck. You know what I'm saying? And people are still looking for an actual trumpet sound, you know? And so, like I said, if you're looking for that, your ass already grass, you know? If you're looking for a multiple-headed actual beast to come up out of the water, your ass is grass. If you're looking for big-ass locusts that's going to be a half locust, half horse, half man to become flying around and hurt the earth, and the Lord, that's how the Lord destroying you, your ass already grass. Okay, because these things is already around you and they already fucking your ass up, but you not looking for that, you know? You over here getting chased down by these goddamn helicopters, and you like, you know what, we still going to be here because we waiting on actual locusts to come out of the ground. Okay? If you're looking for one actual man to be the fucking Antichrist, your ass going to be here for a while. If you're waiting on the goddamn devil to come down and set up his kingdom, okay, like the actual devil, a red devil, like the fucking imagery you think about. You know, if you're waiting on this nigga to come down and set up his kingdom on planet Earth as the Antichrist, your ass is far gone. You far grass, because the Antichrist system and the Antichrist, that whole shit is here already. You've been living in this motherfucker the whole goddamn time. Everything you do here is against Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah, his law, statutes, and commandments. Everything you do here is against that. It's so far like that they trying to persecute us for trying to keep his law, statutes, and commandments. They about to start persecuting us for telling y'all to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. They try to put us, there already is so-called hate crime laws and shit, hate speech for telling the motherfucker not to put his goddamn dick in another man's asshole, because that shit is not nice. None of it is not nice. It's not nice, but it's not healthy at all either. You know, the shit that'll kill your ass, we telling you to don't do that shit because it's going to cause you death, and then they come against us with that shit, you know? Obviously, you in the Antichrist system. You in the devil's realm right now. You in fucking hell. You in hell under the devil right now. But if you looking for those type of things as you've been taught, you know what I'm saying, you're never going to find it. And this is why Esau had to hijack the schooling system and shit like that, and the churches and all that stuff, to fantasize all these things about you, so you would be looking for this fairy tale shit, or either you would think the shit is a fairy tale and you would just discredit it. And you wouldn't see all the shit that's already popping up around you, you know? You'd be like I said, you'd be looking for a multiple-headed beast coming up out of the damn water with one of his heads missing, you know what I'm saying? And you're going to be following an actual mythological beast. So, shit, we'll be waiting here for, you know, days on end. You've either had the nukes come down, your house shall return, and set the kingdom back up, and your ass, nah, I'm still waiting. I'm waiting on the devil to be revealed in the Antichrist. I'm like, nigga, for real? You know? So, you know, Lord willing, this here lesson was edifying, you know. Until next time, I say, call halal Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that taught me to say truth and rule well. And salutations to you, Akim, on the four corners of the earth, pushing his truth and sincerity. You know what I'm saying? And enduring these afflictions, you know, and staying firm in the faith. Okay? Stay strong. Shalom.